it would retweet itself instantly from your account. And you wouldn't even know it happened until you looked at your account later. And so the great thing about it being a tweet is that the code is very short, and I can go through the entire thing bit by bit. So the first thing it does is it starts a script tag, and it sets class XSS. And the reason it does that is because the very first thing it does is it says, this bit of code means find all elements on the page with class XSS, which is going to be this box right here, this box that the tweet is in. And it says find all the parents, which is like all the boxes that this is inside of, and then find the second one, because we count from 0, which would be like the box around the tweet. And then it says find all A tags, which an A tag is a link tag. And so there are, in this box, there are 3 links. There's the reply button, the retweet button, and the like button. And then it says find the second one, which is the retweet button. And then click that. And then semicolon, so new line of code. When you click retweet, a little pop-up comes up that says, are you sure? So instantly what we do is we find that button and click it too. And then just because he had room, he puts up a little pop-up to tell you that he just screwed you. So I guess you would know that you were hacked by that as well. And in the end, he's got a cute little heart. Apparently the vulnerability relied on there being that heart at the end. It was like the XSS protection would be there unless you somehow... It was something about ending in a heart, that's why it worked. But you can see this has... It's still to this day, for people who haven't deleted it, has 67,000 retweets. It reached like 100,000 retweets, a couple 100,000 at the peak of it before they fixed it. BBC Breaking News retweeted it. It's like it got retweeted by... It went like everywhere before they fixed it.
That's so funny.
I'm actually really surprised that Twitter never took down the tweet.
Wait,
but
so is it like a virus where like if you retweet it, I'm following you, and it shows up?
yeah, well, yeah, it's sort of like a worm, like because if it's the tweet just has to show up on your screen. It doesn't matter if it shows up as a retweet or not. So anyone who it showed up for, they would retweet it, and so yeah, it sort of had exponential growth there because of the way it was designed. Another famous example, and this is sort of like the OG, the original example, is the Sammy Worm, or the MySpace worm. So this was back in 2005, the heyday of MySpace. This guy, Sammy Kamkar, he didn't have enough friends on MySpace. He wanted more friends. So he added a bit of code to his profile that would... They had some XSS protections in place. He got through them one by one, and actually he's got this great technical explanation where he explains, here's what they thought was going to stop me, and here's how I got around it. It's a great read, but he basically had this bit of code that would copy the code, all the code to your page, and then have you send him a friend request if you visited his profile. And so since it copied the code to your page, anyone who visited your profile, it would copy, and it spread like a worm. And so at the height of it, before MySpace went down for a couple hours to patch this, he had around 1 million friend requests pending. And the other thing it would do, which is why I had the slide written that way, is it would also, in your hero section of your page, it would add the text, but most of all, Sammy is my hero. So that was pretty great. So I definitely, it's a really good write-up. He was like 18 when he wrote it, so it's kind of immature, but it's really funny. So I definitely recommend it. This is not necessarily one that got a lot of news, but this is just as an example of how pervasive these are. Some guy, he found a bunch of bank websites that had reflected XSS vulnerabilities, and he did something fun with them. There's a bit of JavaScript someone's written called Harlem Shake Jas, and well, I'll just show you what it does. It's better shown than done. So these are all actual bank websites. Yeah, it's not very loud. So, imagine you click a link to your bank and you see this shit. So yeah, this is just, even like websites that are really security concerned, it's just such an easy mistake, because you have to, if you forget to put in XSS protection even once, then you're in trouble. And so the modern solution to that is actually, you don't put in your own protection. You use a framework that does it for you, and you make it someone else's problem to do it right. And so now I want to get into an interactive demo. I've got this website here. If you've got your laptop with you, here, I'll put this on the side and then pull it up in another window. So this is a fake company's website where you can register for an account, and This was coded by me, and I'm a bad coder, and I left an XSS vulnerability in the site. So when you register, your name and everything you submitted shows up. Well, not your password, but shows up on this list page. And your goal is on this list page to get it so that up here where it says no one is the champion, change it to your name. And actually, to save you some time, there's already a function in the page called declare champion, and then you just put in quotes whatever your name is. And so there's also, I've got this help page here that shows some of the other types of attacks that you can do, because there's more than one way to get past a filter. I've got some filtering in place, but I made a really bad mistake somewhere. And your goal is to try and find my mistake. So that page is definitely helpful if you're not sure where to start. So yeah, I've been talking at you a while. Do you guys have any questions or anything? Or any, I don't know. If you don't have your computer, you can just look off your neighbor, I guess. We meant to tell people to bring their laptops, and we forgot. An hour ago, Greg was like, "Hey, did we tell?" Yeah, there he is. He was like, "Hey, did we tell them to bring their laptops?" And I was like, "How am I supposed to tell them now?" But the link it's on this side. I've got the slide over here.
I couldn't find the password field in the URL.
Are you sure you typed it in right? And by the way, I'd recommend sticking only with the easy version of the list. The hard user list one is the vulnerability you have to do there is like stupidly hard, and it's not something we're gonna do in like 20 minutes. So. I'll see if anyone submitted anything yet. So yeah, someone tried putting in just a script tag in plain text, and unfortunately, you got to be a little more clever than that. And one place that you want to look is the view source thing, which in your browser you can go like more tools. Actually, I don't know where it is in the menus. It's on most computers. It's Control U to open it. If you're on a Mac, it's Command Shift U. And this shows you the source code of the page, so you can scroll down here and see what the website is actually spitting out when you put in your code. It's Control U on Windows and Linux, and Command Shift U on Mac, and that's the case in most browsers, or at least Chrome and Firefox, which is, I'm going to guess, what everyone's using.
Not many of those. Yeah. It's a good browser. I just had problems with it. It was really slow touch screen. Like once every now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was real bad on the surface.
I was about to say, yeah. Is that what you mainly use then?
I used to. I haven't touched with like. I really like Firefox more than they came out.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a cool.
Is that what you've been using
That's
since?
what I use, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got my girlfriend to switch to Slack or to Vivaldi.
Nice.
Vivaldi, that's how you know you're in a cybersecurity club. AJ uses Vivaldi, and anytime you bring up Google, he'll find some chance to sneak in a fuck Google.
Yeah, there's a ton of versions of like Chromium out there like that.
Yeah.
There's one that's just like un-Google Chromium that just has all the Google stuff stripped out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I think China was recently proud to announce that they had their own brand new, like their developers in their country had made their own developer, and they figured out it was just Chrome. It was just a rebranded version of Chrome.
Like, why would you even rip off Chrome when there's Chromium right there?
Yeah. And also, it's really easy to figure out. Like even if they did a really good job of obfuscating the source code, it's like you can easily tell what rendering engine is behind a page, because every rendering engine looks different. And if their engine did not look different from Chrome in the slightest, it would have been obvious anyway. So do you guys want a hint? I have a hint.
Alright.
All right. So of all these fields, most of the fields in the form I've actually secured correctly. The one where nope, you didn't see that. I did not leave the solution up there. No one saw that. The form where there's an error, where I've made a critical security mistake, is the profile picture URL field. So that's the one where your attack is going to go. And it's something, the vulnerability has to do something specifically unique to that field that is different from any other field.
Yeah, thinking about getting a thing tag just so I can use it for this stuff.
Oh,
It's
really?
pretty bad at dual booting and stuff like that.
Let's see what you did.
Brian was going to give service.
It's pretty nice, honestly. Like, I like it for school and stuff.
So I see someone, who was it? It was Mike, got close, it looks like, using the right
Really?
field. Not very close.
I mean, I just copied something. And
Yeah. But see, look at how what you typed in appears in the source code here. So it's useful to look at how it's appearing and then think,
Oh, wait, I didn't even check that.
what could I put into that box that would cause something to break?
Would you say command or control shift U?
Are you on Mac?
Yes.
It's Command Shift U,
Command shift U.
I think.
Not getting anything.
Try F12.
Maybe it's Control Shift U.
No,
What
no,
browser
this
are you
is Chrome.
Yeah, F12, command F12.
What browser? Well, you can also just in the menus.
Is there a way to just get there?
There's in the menus, and also if you prepend to the URL pu-source :
Oh, okay.
that works too. That's just a really tedious way to do it, and that only works in Chrome. I could have sworn it was Command Shift U. What do I press? Maybe it's just Command U.
My experience has been F12, but I don't know if that's an older thing or what.
Well, that's a speaker. Command 12? And shift 12?
Try
It's
Alt.
Command Option U. I'm an idiot.
Oh. Yeah, there we are.
My fingers knew to do it because I did. I mentally I had it as Shift, even though my fingers knew it was Option. So I'd say I see people putting in an image tag here, and the one thing you'll notice is you're putting it in, but there is already an image tag here. So maybe see if you can take advantage of the image tag that's already there instead of trying to make a new one. That's another hint. I apparently sped through the talk a little bit faster than in the last group, so we have more time for you guys to work on it. Oh, by the way, whoever did this one, you don't have to, the function declare champion, I've already made that function. You don't have to create a new function. Just all you have to do is call the function and pass in a string. So like if you scroll up in the source code, you can see that function already exists. I wanted to make the demo simple, so I made it so you don't have to know how to edit that bit of the page. Big man. Whew. So if you guys get bored of working on this or whatever, just let me know and I can give the answer or whatever, or we can keep going for a bit. It's all the same to me. Brandon is getting close. Who's Brandon, by the way? Hello. You are close. You are very, very close. And, some of you guys might be familiar, rather than going to the view source, you might be familiar with Chrome's developer tools, which also, or any browser's developer tool. And the one thing I'll say is I recommend not using that for this, because the difference between Chrome developer tools and the view source button is Chrome developer tools, they won't show you the actual code that the server sent to your computer. They show you their interpretation. So like any mistakes in the HTML, they'll sort of fix them. And this is showing you how Chrome has evaluated the page, which won't look quite the same as this, and you won't be able to actually figure out the issue if you're just looking at Chrome, because Chrome will fix them a weird decision that I made as a web developer, and you won't be able to take advantage of me being a bad web developer. So if you didn't know about that and you're like, what the hell is he talking about, then just ignore me, because I'm telling you, don't use that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, oh, you got it. You figured out.
Yeah, you were right about it. You have to look at it.
Yeah. I mentioned that sooner in the other group. I forgot to mention it sooner this time, but yeah. What? What?
Oh, he's on his way. DJ.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I'll go over the answer because it sounds like they're on the way. Although, Brandon, are you literally 5 seconds from it?
Pretty much.
I will give you 10 seconds.
I gotta type it in. So.
We're all waiting on you. Don't fuck us over, Brandon.
We good?
Brandon is pretty sure he's about to get it, and so everyone stare at Brandon and put all the pressure on him.
Moving heavily. Hey, if you guys want any more pizza, now's your chance. Get a piece. Why not? I haven't had any pizza, so I'm gonna take a piece.
Pretty good, man.
For all of you who came back, I'll show the answer, which you've already seen, but then I'll also show the I can show the answer to the hard one too. So. Oh, thank you.
Was that a national lab? Yeah. So not quite as good as we're, but damn close.
I know. I've even done this one.
Brandon, you think you got it?
Yeah, I spelled champion wrong.
Brandon, instead of on load, on error.
What is it?
On error.
Oh, error? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so Brandon's about to get it, and I'm just going to use Brandon's as the demo for the answer once he gets it. Yeah, he, instead of putting in declare champion, he put in redirect page to OMFG dogs. You forgot an apostrophe. Yeah. Before declare champion. Hey, okay, Brandon got it. All right, so I'm going to show how Brandon did it. So Brandon put in, when it asked him to put in a URL for the image, this text I'm selecting right now, can you guys read that actually? I'll make it a little bigger.
One error.
This is what Brandon typed in, or actually no, I misclicked it. This is what he typed in. So he typed in, first he typed in an apostrophe, which meant that this source block right here, it ended that source block. And then he put in, so it was expecting, the source block is where the URL goes. So he ended the URL. He said, we're done with the URL, which meant he could write other stuff besides the URL. And so he said, I'm going to create something called onError. And onError is in the browser. It's if there's an error loading the image, then it's a bit of code that it'll call. And we put in no URL, so of course there's going to be an error because it can't load no URL. And so it says then if there's an error, declare champion Brandon. And so that's exactly what it did. And so that's how Brandon's name ended up here. And so this will almost certainly not work on hard mode. Hard mode is stupid hard. And I actually did have a hint for it, but it was stupid. So if you guys are familiar with ASCII, it's how... so in a hard mode, the difference is that it filters out quotation marks, so you can't put quotation mark Brandon or whatever. But what you can make strings without using quotation marks. And so if you look up, your name is, I'm gonna pick a very, if your name is, I'm gonna make it Joe so that we only have to do 3 characters.
Why not
Then,
AJ?
Why not Joe?
oh, AJ, there we go. All right, we're gonna do AJ. So here's instead of, so we can't put these quotes here. So instead, there's a function called string.fromCharCode, which lets you input a string by numbers. So if we get the number here, 65 is A, and then we put in comma, 74 is J. And actually, before I submit this, I'll clear out Brandon's championshipness.
Progress book was stupid because he said something about it.
It's just that.
It's in like, just learn how to hack everything. That's it.
I know. This is it.
You know all the hacks now.
All right. So I've cleared the answer. So if we submit this now, this will work on easy, but it will also work. Why isn't it working on hard?
It's just that hard.
Too hard, man.
What did I do wrong? Oh, you know what? I know what I did wrong. I think I needed to use, let's see.
The card code.
What did I need to do? This is what you get for not testing your demos that you made a couple months ago. Maybe this is what I need to do. All right, that should have worked. But you get the idea. That's how you can do clever things like that to avoid using quotes. But I also filtered single apostrophe, so I don't know how this was supposed to be possible. Yeah, it's been too long. I don't remember. So
we wrap.
pretend that worked. Oh my God, Hayden, great demo.
Wow, dude, great job.
He's the dumbest guy in the club. It's really stupid shit.
Not wrong. So that presentation, we had to squish it down to a half hour so that we could do other stuff tonight too. So I originally gave this like in February as like a whole talk for the whole time. So there's a whole lot more links in the original presentation. So if that was interesting, there's a lot more information on XSS over at that link. And that link is also on our website, the Cyber at UC. So that's all I got.
Cool. All right, so I'll wrap it up. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. Please fill out the sign-up sheet if you didn't. I know you guys have heard me say this once, probably twice, 3 times. Please fill out the sign-up sheet. We're going to have another sign-up sheet, not sign-up sheet. We're going to have another Google form. We're going to be posted in the general Slack tonight. And it's just going to be like, hey, if you're interested in any of the committees, just pick your top 3. And then, we can work together. Recruitment. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions on anything, feel free to ask. Please fill out our surveys. And with that, good luck. Welcome to UC. I hope you have a great semester. And I know that myself and everybody else here in this chapter is more than willing to help, be a study buddy or anything else you need. And with that, I'll let y'all go. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And please hang around if you want to talk about committees too, because we're happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk to us.
Board game night.
Yeah, board game night. Board game night Friday.
Yeah, I know. I forget how the whole thing was on Wednesday. The whole thing was this. Yeah, I forget. There was supposed to be a way to beat that. Take home pizza, please. We have extra pizza. We have nothing to do with it. Get a plate and take some home if you want. Put it in the freezer, whatever. Free food. You did? What? I want more pizza. I did. For what person?
They're actually in the back. You say that the
It was, if you look at the developer tools, it's not that it wouldn't work, it's just that for you to spot that I use single quotes instead of double quotes there, you wouldn't be able to see that in the developer tools because Chrome just changes them all to double quotes. So you wouldn't be able to see the critical mistake I made that allowed the vulnerability. It's still useful for other stuff. It's just for this one specific thing, we source it a better way.
Firefox work?
Sorry.
No problem.
It's Firefox's developer tools. I haven't played with them much, but I'm pretty sure they work the same way. Because that version of the source, it lets you edit it. It lets you that's a manipulatable version, and so they can't have you. It wouldn't be possible for them to have you manipulate the original code from the server when the original code from the server might be garbage, and they had to interpret that garbage. So.
Thanks for the demo.
Yeah, no problem. I love doing that demo.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for. I appreciate it. I shake your hand. What's your name?
Drew, did you take that?
Imagine I'm shaking your hand,
Alright,
but
I got you.
I think you don't want to. Hey, how's it going? I mean, yeah, sure. I'm always looking for. Huh? On the GitLab, I think there's a couple of issues that are open if you want to dig through those. I can't remember what they are. There's like a couple of little things. Yeah.
Hayden, I gave you back the keys, right?
Huh? Yeah, you did.
This is the proposal.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Appreciate it. Huh?
You're such a big noob, dude. Wait, we didn't talk about how to protect yourself.
I talked about it briefly. I had to make this a shorter talk. So I mentioned like that you do string sanitization.
Content.
Wait, so how do you create a? Wait, I'm confused.
The idea with
What's
this,
the hard one?
I think I screwed it up, but the idea was that the hard one also blocked double quotes, and so to deal with that, instead of like that kind of quotation mark.
Oh, for sanitization.
Yeah, and so to make a string without those kind of quotes, you had to do string from car code.
Wait, does just sanitizing this not work? Where it's sanitizing all the letters?
It was in the demo. It was more like this. You put in this part, and you only had to use single quotes here and here. The way I had it set up, so you could get around it. But for some reason, it was blocking. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, but would it be enough just to like escape these characters?
Yeah, but the demo was like. Let me eat this pizza and then I will talk.
The one that yours is at like 3, 2, 3, right? That's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be filtering out single quotes though. So something wrong with the demo. But so see, we're not actually letting the user is not putting in the whole image tag. That is already in the page because the exploit is in the profile picture URL. So it's what they're doing is you're putting in a URL here.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And so the only thing the user is submitting is this bit, which did not. Dude, I'm fucking retarded. I did it with single quotes first and it didn't work, so I must have accidentally had single quote filtering on. So I made it impossibly hard. I made it so that it's not actually beatable. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the ways you can get around XSS protections. I need water. That pizza is not spicy, but it's I am a wimp, and so it is spicy to me.
I can't eat anymore.
I can't eat.
Are you
I'm allergic to dairy.
Oh damn.
Anything with dairy.
Yeah.
So pizza.
If you saw him,
Pizza, ice cream, chocolate milk.
I crave for you.
Hey, the next time let's order like half of it pizza without cheese, and then I can eat it.
We'll order with that.
Half of it because I don't want to make everyone else.
We're considered to all members.
That'll probably be Friday next time. We don't normally have pizza here. We would that would be our entire budget.
I thought pizza was in the budget.
We don't have a big enough budget.
Yeah. Especially not if we accidentally waste our money ordering pizzas that are too big.
Wait, let's recycle the pizza for next year.
I think Kevin's taking it home to his roommates. I'm gonna kill the last.
Bye, YouTube.
Sarah told me to leave when I showed up. What? Because I didn't have a costume. She was like, "Where is your costume?"